To understand why there is such poverty, desperation, and persecution of Christians and other poor people of India, one needs to understand the caste system. The caste system, or Varna, was established nearly 3,000 years ago as part of the Hindu religious system. Caste is determined by bloodline. One is consigned for life into whatever caste they're born into. This has resulted in 3 millennia of backwardness and slavery that consigns millions upon millions to a lifetime of institutionalized poverty and suffering. Built upon the superstitions of polytheistic beliefs, the order of Indian society was laid down supposedly by the pagan gods Brahma, Vishnu, and Krishna upon an inferior mankind. At the top of the caste system itself are the priests, the Brahmins. They are the religious leaders allowed to read the Vedas, or the Hindu scriptures. They are the conduits between gods and men. Below them are the warriors, rulers and political leaders, the Kshatriyas. These were selected to rule the people and to defend them in military campaigns. They also bestow gifts to the priestly caste. Following are the shop owners, skilled artisans and craftsmen, the Vaishya. These are the merchant and the business class who are expected to tend to business, herd cattle, trade, lend money, and farm the land so as to offer sacrifices to the upper 2 castes. These 3 primary castes are 15% of the population of India. They control the culture and all wealth in society. At the bottom are the unskilled workers and poor, the Sudras. This is the labor castes, whose duty it is to only serve the upper 3 castes. This Varna makes up 50% of the population and consists of servants, cleaners, laundrymen, and manual laborers. Outside of this triangle are the outcasts, the Dalit, the pariah, the Aryadra, untouchables, because to touch or interact with one of these would defile those in a higher caste. This caste is lower than animals and is relegated to scavenger labor, such as handling the dead or cleaning up human waste. Hindu tradition says that even the shadow of an untouchable falling on a higher caste member would defile them. And below them all are the Christians, the lowest of the low caste. Hinduism has taught the Aryadra that they are subhuman and rejected by God, consigned to torment and lifelong servitude to the upper castes, with no human rights because they are to pay for the sins of their past life. They are denied basic essentials, electricity, and use of public wells, and they're frequently denied access to public places. Abuse and beatings are common among the Dalit by the upper classes. The Aryadra untouchable class consists of 25% of the Indian population. Thrown into the untouchable caste are widows, those with no personal wealth to care for themselves on the loss of a husband. Should a husband die, a widow is determined to have bad karma and therefore responsible for his death. Upon widowhood, the spouse can choose to burn with the body of her dead husband, or she can become an outcast of society, where she must spend the rest of her life in deprivation. She is cast out to live in an ashram or widow commune, or beg in the streets. Widows must shorn their hair, and they're not permitted to remarry. They must live a life in suffering to pay for their bad karma. Widows are only permitted 1 meal a day and forbidden sweets. They must shun all enjoyment in life. A widow may not show her face before 10 a.m., lest a worker see her and be cursed for the day with bad luck. She must beg to survive, living a life of self-denial. Then there are the children who are orphans. Not only those children whose parents have actually died, but the vast majority of children who are orphans in India are simply outcasts of their families. Blamed for any bad luck, such as the loss of a job, a death in the family, or simply because the parents and older siblings consider a new child to be a financial burden. Children are frequently cast into the streets or sold into slavery at any age, from infants on up to teens, and made untouchable. They too must beg for a living, consigned to live on the streets, to become thieves for crime lords and prostitutes for pimps. They suffer a life of filth, a life of abuse, a life of rejection by all and untouched by love or kindness. So entrenched are these Hindu beliefs and traditions, modern society cannot expunge them from Indian culture. It is into this world that Mission India 2010 will go, to serve the only light of hope that exists in this very dark place.